Hey, how are you? So it's day 77 of the Iran war, and Iran threatens tariffs on undersea internet cables. We're going to have a look at this war briefing right now from Sky News.
It's day 77 in the Iran war. Now, for the past few weeks, we have heard a lot about the Strait of Hormuz and shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. And today there's further news about the Strait of Hormuz, but this time it doesn't concern shipping. Iranian news media are reporting that there may be turbulence ahead involving undersea cables. Now, the reason that we have been paying so much attention to the Strait of Hormuz over the past few weeks is that it's a global passageway for shipping, a crucial passageway. And what may be less known to people around the world is that it's also a crucial passageway for international data traffic. And we see here there are lots of cables in the Strait of Hormuz connecting the countries in the region to one another, but also to the rest of the world. And more cables are being planned. There is, for example, one that is in the process of being installed. It's 45,000 kilometers long and will connect all kinds of countries, including the countries here in the region. 45,000 kilometers is a very long cable, but even though cables can be extremely long, they are also extremely thin, about 1 inch in diameter. That's the size of yours and my fingers. Very thin, but very powerful, these cables are. And they work tirelessly day in, day out, every second, transmitting data. In fact, nearly all digital traffic goes through cables. An astonishing 99%, it is calculated by the research firm Telegeography, which also has calculated that on an average day, more than $10 trillion worth of money goes through undersea cables. These
It would actually, they kind of have the world by a ball. I mean, I'm pretty sure in countries like the UK, United States, I think the more richer countries around the world, they probably have backups for this anyway. But for little countries and poorer countries, I mean, they can just snip them off the internet and everything just like that. That completely put them back like decades in terms in terms of everything. Like, it's wow, crazy. Let's carry on.
these are phenomenal figures. And that is why it matters so much what happens in any part of the world, because these cables all connect different countries and we all depend on the different cables. We don't just depend on one cable each in one country.
Yeah.
And that is why we should be
places.
paying attention to what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, right at the beginning of the war, the crew
Just to be clear, in case people are watching, these are actually cables, not shipping routes.
that was about to install that famous 45,000 kilometer cable had to declare force majeure and to suspend that installation because it was too dangerous. Other installation crews have also had to suspend the installation. It was too dangerous. And now, today, there is further news from Iranian state media, which is that the Iranian government is considering imposing levies on cables in the Strait of Hormuz. Here they are again. We don't have any details yet. We don't know if it would be all cables. We don't know how much the levies would be. We don't know how the operators would pay the levies, considering that Iran is under international sanctions. And we also don't know what would happen if any operators refuse to pay the levies.
So it probably means for those countries then that they're going to pay probably twice, if not more, for the data and internet and things like that coming into the countries, because these companies or countries are going to be charged a hell of a lot more for having them, depending who Iran picks or chooses to basically who's going to pay more.
But what we do know is that Iran would have the option of causing harm to those cables in the Strait of Hormuz, the cables perhaps whose owners refuse to pay.
They could
And
easily
what we have
fix,
seen
but it will
in
be
recent years
detrimental to
are
the country
numerous
that they're
incidents,
connected
for
to.
example, in the Baltic Sea, where ordinary ships have dragged their anchors across across undersea cables and cut and damage them for what seem to be geopolitical reasons. This is why we should worry about what is happening on the seabed. Now, I'm not saying that this will happen in the Strait of Hormuz, but what we do know is that the people in Iran, in the region, and indeed the rest of the world depend on these cables. And we also know that there is no real alternative to undersea cables. We depend on them just as we depend on shipping, and it's thanks to undersea cables that you're able to see this. And I would just leave you with this question. What would you do if you were without connectivity for 1 day or even 1 hour?
No, absolutely, she's right. And some of these countries are not technically advanced, say like the United States, Great Britain, say like the more richer European countries and that. No, absolutely, it will put a lot of these smaller countries in deep shit, literally. And they'll be, like I just said, they'll be set back decades. Crazy how this war's turning out. Okay, I'll brief more, and if something else comes up to do around, I'll start posting videos more upon it now that other news and that sort of settled down here for a little bit. But yeah, until next time, take care. Peace.